Right now at noon, Pittsburgh authorities make a second arrest in connection to a November murder.
We're going to be a little warmer and we are certainly windy. You can see our camera shaking around downtown Pittsburgh. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, with winter just around the corner, we'll have some tips to ensure your furnace is in working order.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Pittsburgh police make another arrest in connection with a November murder case. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. Yesterday's arrest stems from the November 27th murder of 29-year-old Fedora Lee Warren Lomax at a home on South Elm Street in Pittsburgh. Now, officers found Lomax suffering from gunshot wounds inside one of the apartments. Now, he later died at the hospital. Now, shortly after the shooting, officers tracked a suspect to a home on the 300 block of East Park Street. There, they found 26-year-old Kevin Huckhill hiding in the attic. Police arrested Huckhill on an outstanding Crawford County felony warrant for failing to appear on a previous drug charge. He's now facing second-degree murder charges, felony interference with law enforcement, and felon in possession of a firearm. Yesterday, police arrested 28-year-old Shannon Marie Roberts, also on the 300 block of East Park Street, for various charges. Now, they include felony interference with law enforcement, obstructing an apprehension, and concealing or tampering with evidence. Now let's head over to Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
We've got a pretty decent day shaping up for us across the area. We got a, excuse me, clear skies. Oh, there's too much oxygen in this room from the MODOT camera 32nd in range line, excuse me. We do have a few clouds starting to build in now of our camera downtown Pittsburgh, and we've been watching it shake back and forth here with the gusty winds. Started yesterday at 28, so about where we should be, but a little cooler than normal. We made it up to 42, and we are going to be above normal today, but not quite to record levels. 58 already in Joplin, 54 in Pittsburgh, and again, you can see that warm front just now getting south of I-70, so up north, still in the low 40s. The rest of us, though, upper 50s and starting to get close to 60 degrees out there. And because of the winds, we do have a bit of a wind chill, but again, mainly where it's still cold up to the north, but not a significant wind chill, which is good. For the rest of the evening, again, clouds will continue to increase as we go through the evening, and overnight hours will fall back, most of us into the low 40s. The clouds act as that blanket, so they slow down that cooling process, but for our friends up north, that warm front is going to turn back to the south a bit, so the 54 corridor, maybe a little south of that, probably looking at lows 10 degrees cooler than this, going in the low 30s. We do have some rain chances coming up. We're going to talk about that and the even warmer temperatures on the way here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, cold weather can cause a number of problems when people are trying to keep warm. Now, authorities this week had to respond to a chimney fire in the Kelsey Norman neighborhood of Joplin. Responders alerted one resident before helping them to safety. It took about 90 minutes to extinguish the fire, and there were no injuries. Now, if you intend to use a fireplace, you can head over to KOAMNewsNow.com for a complete interview with Joplin Fire Training Chief Dustin Luno for tips to ensure your chimney works properly. And as winter kicks into gear, it might be a good time to get the heating system in your house looked at. Now, local technicians recommend getting your systems looked at early before temperatures dip too much. Now, it's also a good idea to go ahead and replace your system's filter. A standard one-time maintenance call can cost somewhere between $100 to $200, but it could save you thousands in repair costs if an issue is detected ahead of time.
Typically, there'd be one price increase at the beginning of a year, 4 to 6%, then we're done for the year. And over the last 3.5 years, you could pretty well count on every quarter a price increase. Things have become so expensive that the average person is in a perfectly reasonable position to wonder, how am I going to pay for this?
Now, Osborne encourages homeowners to regularly replace the filters in their heating systems, and if they have any issues, to contact a local HVAC technician as soon as possible. Well, some big news for a local industry. Schreiber Foods in Carthage, Missouri announces plans for a major expansion. Now, that expansion includes construction of a new 168,000 square foot production facility featuring state-of-the-art technology. The $211 million investment is expected to create 150 new jobs. The project is scheduled to begin next month with a completion scheduled for 2027. Now, Schreiber Foods has been part of the Carthage community since 1950 and currently employs more than 1,300 people. And the community turned out in Carthage last night to support a fundraiser for a hit-and-run victim. Braxton Thrasher was struck on his moped back on November 30th and suffered traumatic injuries. Since then, the Carthage teen has dealt with a number of surgeries and has moved from Springfield to St. Louis for more extensive care. Now, last night, his employers at Domino's Pizza in Carthage hosted a fundraiser for Braxton to help offset some of the medical expenses. Domino's says the turnout was so great, their projected orders actually doubled, and they even stopped taking orders or they would have ran out of food. Now, if you missed out on last night's Domino's, it says they will continue to honor the fundraiser coupons through the weekend. Well, Missouri businesses groups have now filed a legal challenge to Missouri's new minimum wage law after voters passed Proposition A last month. Now, starting January 1st, the minimum wage in Missouri is set to increase to $13.75 an hour and in 2 years rise to $15. KOAM Samantha Walker has more.
Voters passed Prop A with more than 57% in support of it. The proposition raises minimum wage to $15 by 2026, with further increases depending on inflation. In addition to that, Missouri businesses will be required to provide 1 hour of paid sick time for every 30 hours worked. That provision will go into effect on May 1st of next year. Groups like Business for a Fair Minimum Wage support the proposition, saying, quote, "Business owners across the state say the minimum wage increase will boost consumer spending and strengthen Missouri's workforce, businesses, and economy. But others, including the Missouri Chamber of Commerce, the Missouri Grocers Association, and the Missouri Restaurant Association, are speaking out against Prop A for financial and legal reasons." In a joint statement, they state the measure will, quote, "increase prices for consumers and impose significant financial burdens on businesses of all types and sizes." These groups have submitted a legal challenge to the Missouri Supreme Court, hoping to get the proposition invalidated. What's invalid? The challenge claims the proposition has misleading language and language that creates prejudice for the amendment. Because of those reasons, they believe the elections of this proposition is invalid. Issue number 1. The Missouri Constitution requires ballot initiatives to contain a single subject. The petition claims Prop A contains 2 unrelated subjects, minimum wage and earned sick leave. Supporters of Prop A argue the minimum wage and sick leave are related enough, tying back to the single subject of worker welfare. The petition has been sent to the Missouri Supreme Court, but because Prop A is a law change, lawmakers could overturn the measure. In the studio, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, coming up, a new phone policy is headed to Pittsburgh schools. Now, what the school district is saying about those changes. And later, we're making Christmas cake pops in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, high school students in Pittsburgh will have more cell phone restrictions starting next semester. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has more.
Cell phones are a distraction to the learning environment.
Chris Krotz is the assistant principal at Pittsburgh High School. He says there's no reason a student should ever be on their cell phones during class. His main source of information comes from those with first-hand experience, the teachers.
Some of our teachers that have had more of a strict cell phone policy have noticed major differences in our engagement pieces in the classroom.
The already existing rule is that cell phones are not to be seen or used during class time. That includes in the hallways or in bathrooms. Phones can be on, but have to be in silent mode. But now it has to be in airplane mode. And if students are going to use headphones, they have to have a cord and can't be plugged into a phone. And one argument heard from parents to allow phones in the school is safety. What if there's a dangerous situation like an active shooter?
I actually feel like we have very good, strong policies there that we train and do year round, and none of those policies have anything or any need for students to have their cell phone.
And as far as video evidence of a situation,
Actually have a very good camera system throughout our school that we use quite regularly.
in case of an emergency, parents are required to contact the school to deliver a message. The student can then get permission to call the parent back. And I asked about parents' opposition to the rule, but he says there really isn't any.
Not really. Not really opposition, more of just as we've kind of developed this plan, there's been good conversations that have helped to kind of mold it.
Crotch says it's all there to help make our students better succeed.
It helps to free our kids from constant social media and notifications and all that.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, students are allowed to use their phones during breaks and on school buses as long as they follow all school policies. Well, still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Can't figure out what to get the folks on your gift list this year? We've got the perfect gift they're sure to love.
And we are watching warmer temperatures and rain chances as we head into the weekend. Details when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So for most of us, it's turning out to be a pretty warm day, but that cold front the warm front rather, still slowly retreating to the north, and that's left the northern, third of our area pretty cold this afternoon. Let's take a quick look outside. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh. We're starting to see some of those clouds work in, and they're coming in from the south, and they'll continue to push through until we are eventually mostly cloudy across the region. And this is what they're looking like as they push in. Southwest winds still gusty out there. Now, eventually, the warm front will retreat far enough north that our northern counties, you guys should get a bit warmer than where you are right now. But then the problem becomes the warm front retreats back south as we go into the evening, and because of that, our northern counties will also get much colder tonight than everyone else. For the rest of us south of the warm front, the clouds come in at the perfect time during our peak heating, and that helps trap in some of that warm air. So overnight tonight, temperatures don't fall as much in our southern counties. We're looking, most of us, the low 40s, but along the 54 corridor and maybe just immediately south of it, could be in the low to mid 30s. So a bit colder out there tonight than your peers down to the south. Then we go into our Friday. A few isolated, widely scattered showers will be possible throughout the day Friday, maybe even a rumble of thunder. But the better chances for slightly more organized rainfall will come overnight Friday into Saturday. By 11, we start to see some showers and thunderstorms developing initially across parts of Kansas, stretching down into Oklahoma. And then that activity, again, kind of gets itself together. Nothing severe, by the way. We're not expecting anything severe, and while for some it could be a pretty cold rain, even a cold thunderstorm, it's not going to be cold enough that any of this will be anything but rain. It's just going to feel pretty cold when it's raining if you're outside for some reason at 2 o'clock in the morning. We go into Saturday morning. Here we are about 4:35. Still some scattered showers and storms out there. They're done by about 9. We could have a couple of lingering ones by noon as this low pressure system tracks off to the north and east. I'll leave the rest of us mostly cloudy, but we'll still be warmer on Saturday. In fact, we'll see a few more locations in Oklahoma getting in the low 60s. As we head into Sunday morning, the clouds thicken back up. It's a bit of a cool start out there again. And then we'll see additional shower and thunderstorm chances late Sunday into Monday. For today, again, most of us upper 50s, some low 60s in our southern counties, and our northern counties, maybe the mid 50s, low to mid 50s. Southwest winds gusting to 30, clouds increasing. So we're going to go mostly cloudy overnight, still above normal for most of us into the low 40s. But again, the 54 corridor and maybe just a little south of that could fall back into the low 30s. Winds ease up though, southeast 5 to 10. South winds pick up again tomorrow, gusting to 30. A little cooler, mid-50s out there. We'll have the scattered showers and thunderstorms. And again, during the day, overall, it should be relatively dry, just cloudy. It'll be later overnight into our Monday that we see into our Saturday that we see better chances of showers and storms. Those clear out early enough to allow us to warm up, upper 50s, some low 60s, low to mid 60s on Sunday. It's going to be pretty darn warm. Maybe not record level warmth, but definitely well above normal. Then another round of evening showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms from Sunday into Monday. That cold front we were talking about yesterday, it was looking to arrive Wednesday. It looks like it may arrive as early as Tuesday. And if it does, that just means it'll get colder that much faster. But at least into the weekend, aside from those shower chances, which we do need, it's not going to be too bad temperature-wise. In between the rain, might be able to get some stuff done outside.
All righty. Thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making Christmas cake pops in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard's making Christmas cake pops in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
This is the time of year when we're always scrambling to find a nice gift to give. Whether it's for a teacher, your hairdresser, or maybe a coworker, giving something homemade is always welcomed. So let me share with you a recipe for our easy cake pops that are as much fun to make as they are to give. We start by baking a cake mix according to package directions. As for the flavor, we're using red velvet today, but feel free to use whatever flavor you like. Once it cools, we crumble it and add a good amount of store-bought frosting. After mixing it until it comes together, we form it into 1 to 2 inch balls or whatever shape you like. As you can see, I'm forming these into triangles since I'm making some Christmas tree pops. Now we insert a lollipop or a craft stick into each one and into the fridge they go to firm up. After coating them with some melted white or dark chocolate, we make them come to life with some decorating gel and our favorite candies. Maybe wrap each one in some cellophane for the perfect gift. The recipe for our Christmas cake pops is online now, just in time for gift giving. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a holiday special way for you to say, "Ooh, it's so good."
You can find this recipe on KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4 state market prices.
All right, so we are again going to be a little warmer today, chilly tonight. Some of our northern counties again cold as that warm front sinks back south. A few showers tomorrow, a few more showers and storms late tonight into the first part of our Saturday. Warmer Saturday, much warmer Sunday. A few more showers, maybe a couple of storms Sunday night into Monday. Cold front arrives Tuesday and brings our temperatures back down. But we got a nice warm weekend ahead of us.
Sure do.
Yeah,
All
looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris. And Dowd here for us later on.
Well, a lot's coming up at 5. For starters, the holiday season brings lots of celebrating, which can be triggering for people in recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. We're going to have some tips on how you can support loved ones going through a difficult time. Plus, winter break is almost here, which means students are going to be out of their classrooms. We'll take a look at childcare options for area families. And the holiday season is a time for cheer, but it can be a difficult time for some families. Watered Gardens Ministries is looking to help underprivileged families by hosting their annual Christmas market. Hope you'll join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up today. KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dowd. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.